In the spring of 2020, the cultural imagination erupted. Seemingly overnight, millions of people became intensely focused on 5G radiation, secret tracking devices, and the looming threat of a Great Reset. The standard historical assumption is that under the intense stress of a global lockdown, a huge portion of the population simply lost their grip on reality. But if you look at the underlying systems being activated at that exact moment, a different picture emerges. The public's threat detectors were firing accurately. They could feel the floor moving beneath them. They simply lacked the technical vocabulary to describe what they were sensing. Within a matter of weeks, the essential components of human life, labor, health, identity, and grief, moved into a machine-readable, algorithmic environment. This sudden, non-consensual transfer of human activity onto digital platforms is a process known as forced substrate migration. The wilder theories of 2020 grew in the gap between the massive scale of this transition and the technical smallness of the official account. The conspiracies were the byproduct of a society trying to map a new architectural reality with an inadequate set of tools. To understand what actually happened, we have to use a process called conspiracy dissolution. We take the folk myth, dismantle it entirely, and replace it with the systemic, documented architecture that was actually deployed. Take the pervasive internet rumors from that period about celebrities wearing secret ankle monitors and being placed under hidden house arrest. This diagram illustrates the reality of distributed custody. Through the CARES Act and a risk-scoring algorithm known as Pattern, the federal government converted private residences into official spaces of confinement. Custody was severed from the physical prison and reattached directly to the individual. Or consider the widespread fear that microchips were being hidden inside vaccine syringes. The mRNA platform stack has 3 layers: genomic mapping, AI design, and the mRNA instruction layer, software designed to retarget biological hardware. Expanding outward, this instruction layer branches into hundreds of retargetable applications, including personalized oncology, forming a massive biological computing platform. In both cases, the official public health and safety explanations were technically much smaller than the massive systems actually being introduced. And when a population feels a massive machine moving underneath the floor, their imagination fills the gap with catastrophe. None of this architecture was built in 2020. These were forward-deployed systems, placed into operation years before the public understood their ultimate purpose. Take the hardware timeline. As early as 2006, NVIDIA announced its CUDA architecture, a parallel computing layer that allowed graphics cards to execute general-purpose mathematics. For over a decade, the core training substrate for modern artificial intelligence was sitting in consumer purchasable computers. The software timeline follows the same path. Cambridge Analytica's psychometric architecture proved human behavioral data could be harvested, scored, and weaponized at population scale. This observational network was fully mature and corporate-owned long before 2020. The lockdown year did not invent these technologies. It served as the ultimate load test. It was the moment when all these forward-deployed systems fused together and became our mandatory, inescapable daily environment. The future arrived and took total administrative control over society without ever bothering to introduce itself. Because we lacked a shared vocabulary for this technological shift, the cost was paid in human relationships, a phenomenon we can call the severing. Populations lost the ability to share a basic reality with their own friends and family. Disagreements over health protocols morphed into a total relational amputation, leaving millions permanently estranged from the people they loved. The personal danger of this era was acute. During this exact period, individuals with large digital footprints faced enterprise-scale cyber predation from commercial spyware and blockchain-resilient botnets. People watched their personal archives and entire digital lives systematically dissolve. This exposed the cruelest containment mechanism of the era. A person accurately describing an invisible, highly sophisticated systemic threat is completely indistinguishable from a delusional person to an untrained audience. The intrusion generates the terror, and the terror discredits the report. Moving forward, society has an urgent mandate to establish cognitive sovereignty. We must build defensive infrastructure, maintain the absolute provenance of truth, and figure out how to govern computational systems that became interoperable before we even understood how they work. To survive this transition without losing our humanity, we have to stop pathologizing the people who detect the shifts early. We have to preserve our connections across the technological divide and learn to be the stranger before the damage is done, not after.